Hello and welcome back to the Nonprofit Marketing Club. I am so glad you're here. My name is Kelly and this is the go-to podcast for quick actionable insights to grow your nonprofit's online presence. Today we are diving into an incredibly relevant topic for nonprofits: why outsourcing your digital marketing might just be the game changer that you have been waiting for. Whether you're a small nonprofit trying to make the most out of a really small budget, or you're looking to grow your reach, really expand your supporter base and your donor base, and you need specialist marketing skills to help you do that, this episode we're going to unpack what that looks like, what it means to hire and outsource your digital marketing or pieces of your digital marketing, depending on what you're looking for and your strategy. So as always, grab your favorite hot beverage and let's get into it. Managing marketing for a nonprofit is no small job. I know that you know that, especially when you're juggling a million different tasks with limited resources and limited time. If you're in charge of marketing and communications, you're probably balancing some of these things: fundraising, campaigns, social media, website updates, email outreach, donor engagement, all while trying to keep consistent with your marketing efforts, tell the story of true impact of your nonprofit, and still bring in actual hard dollar support. Then there's the whole other side of it, trying to reach new donors, get new support in the door. And that's a completely different challenge. Thankfully, we have these incredible digital marketing tools today, from social media to email to our websites, landing pages, ads, that we can use to connect with new supporters, donors, and volunteers. And they give nonprofits the chance, this incredible opportunity to build visibility and trust and really those long-term relationships with supporters, partners, and volunteers. But if we're honest, we all know that using all these tools effectively, while they may be free, or some of them may be free at least, it takes time, it takes strategy, and it takes consistency. And then when you're juggling all of this with limited resources, a small team, or maybe you're a team of one, and a never-ending to-do list, things just start to slip. Social media gets pushed aside, email campaigns don't go out on time, and your website sits untouched for months. Hands up if you are guilty. I'm sure so many of you know this is all sounding far too familiar. And that's exactly why more and more nonprofits are turning to digital marketing specialists to get strategic support for their digital marketing. And outsourcing isn't about replacing your role. It's really about supporting you, giving you the bandwidth to focus on the big picture strategy while ensuring your marketing efforts stay consistent, they're effective, and they're aligned with your fundraising goals. So let's dive into why outsourcing your digital marketing could be one of the best strategic moves that you make in 2025. If you're anything like me, handing over something to someone else can be a challenge. Your nonprofit's communication is your heart and soul. It's something that you've been working on, you're committed to developing it, and now you need to hand it over. And that can be a really scary experience. So before I get into the 10 benefits of outsourcing your digital marketing, I think it's really important that I share this one nugget that I recently learned. In a book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time, he mentions the 10-80-10 rule when it comes to handing over and delegating tasks. He talks specifically in the context of a business owner, but I think it can definitely apply to a nonprofit setting. The 10-80-10 principle goes something like this. You start with 10% of the workflow. So you share your vision, the instruction around the task or what the work involves. Then you let go and allow that person to execute the 80%. This is the hard yards of actually getting the work done and completing the task. Then in the final 10%, you come back in and you leave your stamp of approval, or add your very own personal touch to it. And the thing is, people are not going to execute a task perfectly every single time, especially at the beginning. But you can work with people who will get the job done and ensure that at least 80% of the task is complete and exactly what you imagined. Dan Martell says 80% is better than getting 0% done. So handing over to someone you can trust can actually help you build momentum and get the job done, especially if you're stuck in a state of paralysis, or second guessing every decision, or just not getting tasks completed. So with this in mind, I'd love to share 10 key benefits I've seen when a nonprofit hands over their digital marketing or pieces of their digital marketing to someone who really knows what they're doing. First off, I think the main key benefit is really access to expertise and skills that you don't find in-house. This is often a huge one for the nonprofits that I work with. I see nonprofit teams who have a limited skill set in specific areas, and outsourcing their marketing just gives them access to another level, a deeper level of marketing expertise without the full-time overhead of that expertise salary. And usually an outsourced service provider will most likely work with a number of nonprofits in this industry. And so they really have a good feel for what works and what doesn't. They come with often years of experience, and they also really enjoy marketing. They've got the skills, they've got the skill set. So that enables them to not just use guesswork to create your marketing strategy, but actually focused, intentional, strategic efforts that come with years of experience and experience working with other nonprofits. The second benefit that I often see with nonprofits is that they actually save money. And now this is a common dilemma. Should we hire someone in-house with the expertise that we need, or should we outsource? Hiring someone in-house can be really, really expensive, and it comes with limitations. Often that the person doesn't have all the skill sets that you require for your marketing department, or sometimes you get stuck with a hire that turns out not to be such a great fit for your organization. But what outsourcing does is that it gives you access to an extensive team at a fraction of the cost. And for many nonprofits, this is an absolute no-brainer. Rather have that outsourced expense than a fixed in-house staff member that you're going to have to continue paying. It also means that you have more sway in what happens, and the solutions come much quicker. The third benefit is that you can use your time for other things. I don't know what marketing lead, marketing manager would not love more time in their day. You have so much on your plate. Your team has so much on their plate. And much like any nonprofit organization, you are juggling so many things. But by letting someone else handle the tasks, the heavy lifting for you, you can then focus on things that you haven't been able to get to, or you've neglected, or actually things that you enjoy most, that are your zone of genius. And it frees you up to refocus on things that matter most, that are really going to move the needle for your nonprofit. Delivering on your mission, serving your community, whatever that might look like. The fourth benefit is access to the right tools and analytics. Now, the world of analytics and tools, digital tools especially, can be quite overwhelming. I absolutely understand. They can also be super expensive and just out of the reach of a nonprofit. But when a marketing agency or a marketing specialist comes in the mix, they often have access to these tools. They're balanced over a number of different clients, and it can just give you access to them at a much cheaper rate. It also allows them to be way more effective and strategic in analyzing what kind of marketing you're putting out there and is it effective. Oftentimes there's also a steep learning curve when it comes to understanding analytics tools. So when you hand that over to a marketing specialist, they can really unpack that for you and explain what are the key metrics to be focusing on, what really matters most, and leave out the rest. So they really help to just demystify analytics as well. The fifth benefit, and I think probably the most key and really the most momentum building that I've seen for nonprofits, is that outsourcing really brings consistency to your communication, consistency to your posting, consistency even to your brand messaging as a whole. Creating content, especially for something like social media, takes a lot of time, and that can really bog your team down, really chew up a lot of your free time. But unfortunately, like so many marketing channels, consistency is key. You have to keep creating content, which means someone needs to be creating the content. If you struggle to keep up with that consistent content creation, then outsourcing is an absolute must. It will help you so much in the long run. Number 6 is that it's easier to expand. As your nonprofit grows, so do your digital marketing needs. Outsourcing this to someone like us, Acora Creative, we're a digital marketing agency, it just gives you the flexibility to scale up without having to hire. The 7th benefit is that it keeps you in the loop with important trends and changes on digital marketing platforms. Algorithms, platforms, channels, they are all frequently updating and having new changes all the time. It's never ending, from Google Ads to the Google algorithm to Instagram to TikTok, whatever it might be. Just trying to stay in the loop can sometimes feel like a full-time job. We are so passionate about this and something that we are immersed in all the time. So staying up to date for us as a digital marketing agency is so easy. But for a team that is focused on so many other things, this can be a real challenge. So outsourcing this, the direct benefit, you don't have to worry about that. Someone else worries about it for you, and you can just enjoy their wisdom. The 8th benefit is improved engagement and digital community building. Now, what do I mean by that? Building an online community is a skill, and it's something that absolutely requires time and effort and consistency and energy. As digital marketers, we already know how to engage with the people that you want to reach. People will often give to an organization that they feel personally part of, and content can really help create that connection and that sense of community and belonging. Number 9 is greater opportunity for crossing into new networks. The beauty of consistency is that you'll start to collaborate and cross-pollinate with other nonprofits, networks, pages, platforms, whatever it might be, which at the end of the day gives you so much more exposure to potential donors. Now, this is not necessarily going to happen without that consistent effort, building your strategic communication strategy, putting out consistent content, make sure that you have targeted campaigns. Without those things, that cross-pollination into new networks or reaching new people isn't necessarily going to be possible. Number 10 is an objective perspective on your campaigns. Sometimes being too close to your organization makes it hard to see what's working and what's not quite working. This is probably one of my favorite reasons to consider outsourcing, is just to have that external perspective on your marketing, on your nonprofit organization. We don't take things as personally as sometimes you can take them when you're so close to the work that you do. And I don't mean that we don't care. It's just that we can give you external feedback from someone who is in the marketing industry, has worked with a lot of nonprofits, has seen what works and what doesn't, and can really give you some good, solid guidance and perspective. I think this really helps your team avoid paralysis, avoid overthinking some things, making strategic decisions, actually moving forward and actioning things. Now, we don't come in bashful, we're honoring. We really want to partner with you, not steamroll over you. That is a huge difference. And really the process is collaborative, but just providing that external perspective, I've found 10 out of 10 times it really helps a organization move forward and really makes your campaigns even that much more effective in the long run. Now that's exactly the point of outsourcing. To wrap this all up, a really good agency or marketing specialist should be able to spend some time to properly understand your mission, your vision, the impact of your work, really who you're doing your work for, how it's changing the world, and understand how is all of that going to bring in new supporters for your cause. If that's something that you're looking for, reach out to us. We'd love to partner with you at my agency, Core Creative Co., and see how we can work together. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope it's been hugely beneficial and helped you understand more of what you could be benefiting from if you outsourced your digital marketing. If someone comes to mind while you've been listening, I would love for you to share this podcast with them. And if you can take a moment to leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening to or watching on, that would be hugely beneficial, just helping getting this podcast out to more nonprofits and more marketers just like you. Okay, until next time, stay inspired, keep doing your amazing work, and we'll see you in the next episode.